The Minnesota Vikings spent 5 days quietly rewriting their roster, and the rest of the league barely noticed. They walked into the 2026 draft chasing answers. They walked out with 3 of them. The first answer arrived at pick 18, and the comparison being whispered about him would shake every offensive coordinator in the NFC. Caleb Banks is the name. Stay locked in for who his ceiling resembles. Coach Brian Flores got the interior force he needed. 6'6", 327 pounds, the longest combine wingspan recorded in any draft class since 1999. The defense did not stop there. Jake Golday anchors the second level out of Cincinnati. Big Citrus, Dominique Orange, doubles down on the line at 322 pounds. Then the Vikings made a phone call to Philadelphia, traded Jonathan Greenard to the Eagles, freed up over $34 million in cap space, and the next move was already in motion. One free agent visit happening this week threatens to finish the job. Offense added the most surprising piece of the offseason. Kyler Murray signed for $1.3 million after Arizona released him. Justin Jefferson has a real quarterback again. Jordan Addison has space to operate. TJ Hawkinson lurks underneath. The defense has its star. The offense has its trigger man. And every team inside the NFC North should be losing sleep, because what Minnesota built changes the entire balance of the division. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Vikings and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. The Vikings needed a defensive tackle. They needed a chess piece for Brian Flores. Caleb Banks answers both questions inside one frame. 6'6", 327 pounds. He nearly broke 5 seconds in the 40-yard dash with foot pain. His combine wingspan measured 7 feet, 1 3/4 inches. Numbers like those sit in the 99th percentile of his position. The tape supports the testing. 4.5 sacks in 2024 at Florida before injuries cut his 2025 season short. He plays with leverage, hand violence, and a first step rare for someone built like him. Brian Flores runs a multiple front. Banks fits at 3 technique, nose, or even 5 technique on heavy packages. Pair him with Jalen Redmond on passing downs. Pair him with Dominique Orange on early downs. 2 starters, 2 skill sets, 1 healthy interior in the heart of the defense. Then comes the asterisk. Nobody around the Vikings facility wants to discuss loud. Foot surgery in October 2025. 3 games played all year. A fractured foot at the combine in February. 2 surgeries inside 365 days. Health holds the keys to this entire pick. Whether the front office banked correctly on his future will define this draft class for the next 4 seasons. Off-season story number 2 changes the entire offensive ceiling. Kyler Murray sat on the open market for less than 1 full day after Arizona released him. The Cardinals had already guaranteed $36.8 million of his salary. Minnesota signed him for $1.3 million on top of it. $1.3 million for a former first overall pick. $1.3 million for a quarterback with 153 career touchdowns. Justin Jefferson posted his lowest receiving yardage total since his rookie season in 2025, 1,048 yards, 2 touchdowns. The chemistry never landed with J.J. McCarthy, who finished 35th among 43 quarterbacks in PFF passing grade. Murray brings 5 seasons of 400-plus rushing yards. He brings improvisation outside structure. Coach Kevin O'Connell runs a system built on play action and rhythm throws. Murray walks into a finished playbook with elite weapons already on the roster. J.J. McCarthy is the backup until proven otherwise. The competition exists, but the depth chart leans hard one direction. Rob Brzezinski, the interim general manager, called the move one of the most important of the offseason. The Vikings paid pennies for a top 15 quarterback ceiling. Every other team in the league looked at the contract and asked how Minnesota stole him. 31 teams attacked the 2026 draft chasing skill positions, edge rushers, and quarterbacks. 1 team attacked the trenches twice. The Vikings used pick 18 on a defensive tackle. Then they came back at pick 82 and used another. Dominique Orange out of Iowa State arrived with a nickname earned by his nutritionist in college, Big Citrus. 322 pounds of run-stuffing presence in the middle of the defense. The math behind the double dip is simple. The Vikings finished 21st against the run last season. Jonathan Allen is gone. Javon Hargrave is now in Green Bay. The interior of the defense had 2 starting holes the day free agency opened. Banks fills one, Orange fills the other. Jalen Redmond rotates as the third interior piece. 3 players on rookie or cheap contracts holding down the most expensive position group on most championship rosters. Coach Brian Flores has run multiple fronts every season since landing in Minnesota. Now he holds the bodies to do it. 5-man fronts, 3-man fronts, stunts and twists, with bodies built to handle a double team. The competitor narrative said the Vikings reached at pick 18. The competitor narrative ignored what pick 82 enables. Doubling up made every other piece on the field stronger. Round 1 delivered Caleb Banks. Round 2 delivered Jake Golday out of Cincinnati at pick 51, recording 105 tackles and 3.5 sacks last season as a first-team All-Big 12 linebacker. Round 3 delivered 3 picks in succession. Dominique Orange at 82, Caleb Tiernan at 97, the 6'8" tackle out of Northwestern with 44 career starts. Jacoby Thomas at 98, the Miami safety with 5 interceptions last season. The Day 3 haul filled depth. Max Bredesen at 159, the Michigan fullback the Vikings see as the heir to C.J. Ham, who retired this offseason. Charles Demings at 163, a 4.41 corner out of Stephen F. Austin. Demond Claiborne added home run speed to a backfield led by Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. Gavin Gerhardt closed out the class at pick 235, a center who allowed 0 sacks at Cincinnati last season. About the Caleb Banks comparison. The first-round profile walking into Minnesota carried the same scouting language used on Aaron Donald entering the league. First step, hand placement, anchor strength. The injury history is the difference. Health is the entire question. If Banks plays 15 games per year over the next 5 seasons, the Vikings drafted a generational interior force at pick 18, and the rest of the NFC North will spend half a decade trying to keep up. The Detroit Lions still own the division in talent and continuity, but their interior pass rush quietly aged out, and Banks plus Orange now stand between them in easy ground gains. The Green Bay Packers added Javon Hargrave in March, but their secondary remains a question, and the Vikings receiver core was always built to attack soft coverage. The Chicago Bears won the NFC North last season and lost ground in free agency on the offensive line. Every road in the division now runs through a stronger Vikings front 7. Last season, Minnesota recorded 49 sacks, the 4th highest figure in the NFL. The defense gave up under 20 points per game, top 10 in the league. Adding 3 top 100 picks to a unit already producing those numbers changes the math on every divisional matchup. Coach Brian Flores does not need to invent disguises anymore. He owns the bodies to play whatever front the matchup demands. The competitor narrative kept asking why the Vikings did not draft a wide receiver. The answer sits inside the front 7. Win the trenches. Force punts. Hand the ball back to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison more often. Hand the ball back to a healthier offense more often. The division does not have a defense built like this, and the eyes of every fan base outside Minnesota should already be open. Jawan Jennings walked into the Vikings facility on Tuesday night and stayed through Wednesday. The same name Adam Schefter broke nationally. The same player ranked the 18th best free agent on the Pro Football Rumors board. Jalen Naylor signed a 3-year, $35 million deal with the Raiders earlier this offseason. Ty Felton caught 3 balls for 25 yards as a rookie last year. The wide receiver 3 role sat empty until the phone rang. Jawan Jennings is not a slot specialist. He is a 6'3" bruiser who blocks like a tight end and finishes plays in the red zone. 9 touchdowns last season, 77 catches, and 975 yards in 2024. The most physical wide receiver 3 in football would walk straight into Minnesota and finish the offensive picture. Justin Jefferson in motion. Jordan Addison on the boundary. Jennings in the slot punishing nickel corners. T.J. Hockenson working seams. The trade of Jonathan Greenard freed up the cap space to fund this exact addition. Overnight visits in NFL free agency carry a track record. Most end in signed contracts within 48 hours. If Jennings signs the deal Vikings fans hope to see, the offense climbs from above average to top 10 on paper, and the defensive momentum from the draft becomes the second loudest storyline on the team. The cap space from the Greenard trade did not vanish into next year's books. It walked through the front door this week. 2026 Minnesota wins 10 games. Write it down. The defense added 3 top 100 picks. The offense added a former first overall pick at quarterback. The receiver core is one signature away from elite, and the head coach has not lost his locker room through 3 seasons of turnover. The schedule sets up, the roster sets up. Coach Kevin O'Connell has the deepest squad of his tenure. The bigger claim: Minnesota wins the NFC North outright, and Caleb Banks finishes top 3 in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. The Bears defended a division crown last year on turnover luck. The Lions look identical to the team Detroit fielded 18 months ago and got upset in the wild card. The Packers added defensive depth but lost a step in the secondary. Minnesota holds the highest variant ceiling in the division and one of the lowest floors among realistic contenders. The prediction is the prediction. Drop yours below and stay subscribed for the breakdown when Jawan Jennings signs, because the next video locks in every receiving tier in the division and ranks Justin Jefferson against the rest of the conference. The competitors said the Vikings reached at pick 18. The competitors missed what the Vikings built around it. 1 year from now, every team in the NFC North will know what 18th overall meant for the league.